So, source, Mike.
This one isn't expired. It's an expired.
Now, were you doing broadcasts back then, or these manual?
No, it was broadcast.
Broadcast?
Yep.
Pretty much after I left, you started broadcast right away? 2 years ago?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So what's price?
Purchased at $350.
What type? Like sandwich?
Sandwich. I'm sorry. Yes. So this one, let me kind of talk about how I got the expired. First made the call, went over how we buy. The guy was very interested. They moved out of the house, moved up north to Sacramento area, and he just recently, when I called him, he just recently placed a renter in there. And the only reason why he took that renter is because he paid for the whole year up front. So he got like, I don't know, 24, 25 grand up front. He's like, what the heck, might as well take a chance up. So he was kind of skeptical with him. He says, maybe you could turn my renter into a buyer, because he did come into some money from his grandmother who passed away and left it to him. Maybe you could help him with his credit and turn him into a buyer. But he's not ready yet because he already paid for the whole year. Maybe I'll call you like in 7 or 8 months, towards the end of the term. Like, okay, so no problem. Put him in my follow-up folder there, and I would say about a month or two later, he calls me out of nowhere. He's like, hey, he's breaking up with his girlfriend. They're having a big fight because that's who he was living with. He wants to move back to where he was living, and he just wants to get out of the house.
I mean, how many months are you prepaid remaining?
I think he had probably about, I would say, a good 7, 8 months left. So I go, well, okay, he doesn't want to buy it. Is he able to show the house if I start marketing it? And he was willing to stay in until the house was filled back in, because he felt bad. Because he was going to give him his money back that he had for that year. He was being nice to the tenant. So it was kind of working well for me, because I could show it and market it while he had a guy in there. The seller wasn't losing money per month because he was hanging on to the cash that he had until I found somebody. And so it worked out well. He was willing to show the house. Well, it was an hour and a half away from my house, so I just told the potential buyers to go look at it. He was willing to show it at night, and then when we got off work, so everything was working out right. Great. So that's the story of the house.
Backdrop.
Or how I got the house.
Monthly payment.
Monthly payment is $24.75.
All in, like PITI?
PITI. And now this house has solar. So what I did was that payment was actually kind of high for the area and for the dollar amount I felt to make a spread. So I was like thinking, since it has solar, why don't I charge for the solar to make it my spread? And that way I could say, hey, you're going to be making a PG&E payment anyway. You're paying for the solar. It's all going to be a one payment.
Okay, so when you
Sorry,
market it, no, I want to make sure they get it. If I'm not clear, and I actually part of the deal.
Yep.
So you added it back on like we had back on taxes, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I used it as a tax, like a tax form.
Okay.
I actually that's including the solar payment.
He did a tax thing with solar.
Yeah. So I just added like
what? Oh yeah. PDs.
Yeah. So what I did was I figured out, okay, how much would solar be? I kind of did some numbers. So I just came up with like a $300 a month payment. That'll be my spread, and that'll be their solar.
So the tenant buyer came in at was it exactly $27.75?
It was $27.25 was actually their payment. So I'm getting a little over $300.
Okay, so $250
or $250, excuse me, yeah, whatever it is.
$250 net.
I think it's more like $300. I think their payment's a little bit lower than that. But okay.
So it is 3-ish.
It is 3-ish. Sorry.
So after PDs, it's $300.
Yeah, it's 300.
All right.
Okay, so this guy who had this house before he moved, he had to move because it was a job relocation, but he was already moved at the time. They were just carrying the payment, and they found that tenant that paid the year up front. Well, he just put like 40 or 50 grand into his kitchen, and this kitchen was beautiful. And the kitchen sold the house. So whenever I knew right when I walked in, I was like, wow, this kitchen's gonna sell it easily. So I made sure I took great pictures of the kitchen, so when I was marketing it, those were like the first ones. Of course, the front of the house was first, and the rest were just kitchen and bedroom and whatever. So I got tons of calls on this house just because it's an area where people can work in the Bay Area and commute long. It's a long commute, but along the Bay Area, it's expensive over there, so they're kind of moving south. So it's a high in demand area.
Did you do this contingent upon the buyer?
I did. And that's why he didn't give the money back to the renter until I found
the guy hung up. Okay.
Yeah, so
no drop did it. Okay.
Right. So I found a guy, or found this couple. This was the couple that I talked about yesterday. They were trying to grow the marijuana. This is the house that they moved in.
Term on the buy side, Mike, with that guy? Your term?
It's 48 months.
48?
Yeah.
Nice. Sorry, principal pay down on the PDs?
It's 500.
Nice too. So P is 500. All right.
So
if you guys have questions, yeah, I'm just thinking of things that you might want to know.
It was one of my first homes, and the reason why I took these buyers, I knew I was kind of like in Bill's situation. Hey, I wanted my first check. They had a big down payment. They were willing to put more down in a short period of time. So I was like, well, that's a lot of cash, $22,000. I mean, let's take a shot at it, right?
22 on 350s.
Yeah, that's a really good percentage. So I'm like, let's do it. So I took a shot at them. Obviously, it didn't work out. So
hold on, 20. So
22.
Term. You signed them up for how long?
A 3-year.
And they put down. We're gonna do a few payday ones, but they put down how much?
22.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, and they're only in for how many months?
2.
So you
Until
got
it starts
1,000
default.
here.
Yep.
I'm gonna, because we resold it, I'm gonna put that on payday.
600 on the spread.
Yep. So you had 1,600-ish. Did you get an extra 1 month before you made your first payment? I think you did.
I did. Yes.
So you got another 24.75 here. So what's that? 40.
24 would be what?
41?
34, 4. It's 4,000.
Let's go with 4 even.
So 26 really.
Yeah. All right. So you're into over 26.
Yep.
One does drugs and one passes away.
Yep.
And how many months was it empty?
It was empty for 2 months. So I had to make 2 payments. So figure, I don't know.
You said it's a little lower, but
Yeah, so just figure, 4,500 or.
we'll go 48.
Yeah, 48.
40, minus
Trying to be
48
even
off of
numbers,
that. Let's say 5, just because I
Yeah,
don't want to have to
5.
do math at the end. Minus 5, you got to drive over a few times.
5 minus the guy who had to haul the junk away, which
How
was
much?
another $700.
Go to grand, round up. So we're down to 20 grand still in your bank.
Yep.
All right.
I put it back on the market, and
New buyer.
the first buyer, I got tons of action, but the very first guy who sent me a direct email that was interested ended up buying it. I wound up going with him. He was most qualified. Like I said, great couple.
Let's do next step, just so these guys get the whole process. So he sent it, he viewed it. Now it's empty. So how did he view it?
He
Lockbox?
I put it on. No, he didn't view it yet. He saw the pictures. I posted it on Rent Links, which blasted on all these sites. He saw it on Zillow, the pictures and all that. He even went and saw the video before I even spoke to him. He did a lot of work before.
That's good, right, Nick? You get to know.
Which rarely happens though. You kind of have to instruct them
Without
to do
telling
that,
them.
right? Without telling them. But he was on top of it, and he was a young buyer. Just made mistakes when he was younger with his credit, and he had a great established job.
So he sees the picture. He calls you, or did he send a next step already?
He
No?
sent an email, and I'm like,
Email.
yeah, email. I emailed him back. I go, did you watch our videos? The form email that we usually send these guys. And he says, yes, I already saw everything. I even reached out to the credit enhancement company without me even telling him to go. He even investigated all that. I mean, they're a young family. They're on. I can tell. Okay, this guy's on it. I mean, if he's putting this much effort into it, he's going to be put a lot of effort into our program. And
So
to
see,
get
Bill,
to-
just another good sign, Mr. Bill. Yeah.
yes, this guy.
These are just all.
It doesn't happen all the time.
No, it doesn't
It does
happen
not.
all the time.
It does
That's
not.
why it's good.
So when I saw all that, and then when I experienced the buyer before, I knew it was not the norm, right? So I knew this guy was way above and beyond, more qualified. So
Okay, so then he did go. Did he go with a lockbox?
no, yes, they did.
Okay.
So I had a lockbox in the house because it was already empty at the time, of course. They went in, saw it. They said they love it, they want it.
And then next step, or
Then they fill out the next. No, actually, they fill up the next step form before they even went and saw the house, which was crazy. It was just because he was like, "Hey, what do I need to do next?" I'm like, "All right, fill this out. I wanted to see what they were willing to put down and
at
all
least
that
at the
stuff."
start.
At the start, And then they went and saw it, and they said, yes, confirmed, we love it. It's just like it's more than what we ever thought we could buy. So
How much down?
So they put 12,000 down
Oh,
up
it's gonna
front.
be more. Yeah.
It's 12,000 up front, and then 4 months later they put another 3, so a total of 15.
And you already got the 3?
Oh yeah, you got 15.
Okay.
You got it all.
And is they the same thing about a 300 spread?
Same payment, same everything.
And what'd you give them for a term? Because you had time.
The same term.
Because you have time still.
Yeah, I still have time. Yeah.
So
I
30
the reason why I didn't go obviously the full 48 months because we want to leave ourselves a buffer for any hiccup that were to happen.
So 10-8. If they go the full term. Am I right, you guys? Yeah.
82s. You know,
10-8. Someone checking
Yeah.
me? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. And what'd you sell it for?
389.
389. For 39 grand minus the 15 is 29, 24. Yes.
Yep.
24 plus 36, 38 months of that.
Yeah. So
Almost 20 grand. I rounded down there.
18, 19,000.
19 and what was the other number?
24.
24 and 19? 33?
43.
43? Trying to take money out of your pocket, Mike. 43, 53, 63, 68, 88 grand.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, I'm not trying to jinx you, if he doesn't default and you do it again, but
No, I think
this would be a good one if he does what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, and I've checked with Paul Ritter recently, and they've been working on their credit. They've been going through the program on their own and making progress. They've been on time. They have their payment direct deposited to my account, so it's like clockwork with them. I mean, they're just they've been perfect for me. So.
And you checked with Paul Ritter. Like, you see all the things he
Yeah.
did, all these little pieces?
Yeah.
Nick, is there any piece that, like, he didn't miss a beat?
No, I like it.
his
Sometimes
process?
that'll happen. Buyers want to fill it out before if they want. I said it to them, but I said, really,
No, and Mike could have pushed this, because they did fill out before. He
Yeah.
could have pushed this, but he's like, hey, I just want to get this done, I love these guys.
Yeah.
I just heard something when you were talking. They said that once they saw it, did you notice that?
Uh-huh.
They loved it even more.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
could have.
He could have squeezed
I'm not-
bare minimum a few
I'm not
thousand,
saying-
but
yeah.
he was happy.
Yeah.
You did great.
I'm just
Especially
curious,
to Ed Scripps.
Easy, he could have got more.
I
You
could've
know,
got
with
more.
those partners over there, we're gonna at least need to get you to 15 up front right from the beginning.
Yeah,
Even
I
my
just-
standard, get a grand more, you know?
Yeah, I just felt that they were very punctual and everything that you would wish for in
Yeah.
the buyer. That I didn't want to lose them on a couple grand, even though I knew I could probably get it later on from them. Let's lock them in now. They're on top of everything. I mean, 12 and 15. I already had the other buffer in the bank still.
35
I'm like,
grand up front.
Yeah, let's get them in and
Yeah,
let's
but you're a
work on them.
second buyer too. You
Yeah.
went push. So.
Did you offer them equity enhancement program too at the closing?
I did.
Okay, so you might want to do like a promo, like I think you're doing it to all your buyers. We do that to all our buyers sometimes.
Okay.
And remind them that they have the equity enhancement in place and maybe give them an extra incentive on a given quarter or month.
Okay.
Instead of 50%, we'll give you 75 or 100% match up to a certain amount, just to get some more cash flow in.
Yeah.
You don't need it today, but
Yeah.
because you're going full time, I mean, these little things can add money.
Yeah.